You believe you understand attraction. You believe love is built on kindness, honesty, and giving her everything she asks for. That's what you were taught. Be the good man. Be available. Be caring. Show affection. Prove your love through effort and sacrifice. But what if those rules were never designed to make you desired? What if they were designed to make you safe, predictable, and easy to replace? The men who leave a mark. The men women crave, chase, and remember long after they're gone. Do not play by those rules at all. What if love, at its core, operates on the same laws that have ruled empires, wars, and power throughout history? Machiavelli, the philosopher who understood dominance and human nature without illusions, once said that it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. And perhaps he wasn't speaking only about politics. Perhaps he was describing attraction itself. Because in attraction, as in power, good intentions do not win, strength does. Machiavelli's lessons were never limited to ruling nations. They were about understanding people, their desires, their weaknesses, their instincts. In every society, those who understand human psychology rise above those who simply hope to be liked. Hope is passive. Understanding is power. Today we will uncover hidden rules, psychological laws that make a man magnetic, difficult to forget, and firmly in control of his presence. These are not manipulation tricks. They are the foundations of emotional power, the kind of power that lingers in her thoughts, that pulls her attention back to you, that makes your absence louder than your presence. Once you truly understand these principles, you will never see attraction the same way again. The first rule is simple, but ruthless. Desire is not created by pleasing. It is created by power. Most men believe that if they are kind enough, if they compliment enough, if they give enough, love will eventually be rewarded. But kindness without boundaries is not generosity. It is weakness. Human nature is drawn to strength, not submission. The moment you overgive, the moment you place her at the center of your universe, the moment you chase, you surrender your power without realizing it. And once she feels that your world revolves around her, attraction quietly begins to fade. Desire cannot survive where imbalance lives. Machiavelli would never advise you to depend on another person's approval. Power to him meant controlling outcomes, not waiting to be chosen. In attraction, this means one thing. Your attention must be earned, never handed out freely. Build a life so full of purpose, discipline, and self-respect that your presence feels valuable, not because you demand it, but because it is felt. Do not try to please her. Lead her. A man who does not beg for validation, but gives it only when it is deserved, becomes magnetic, because now the dynamic has shifted. He is no longer seeking value. He is the value, and she knows it. The second rule is subtler, but just as powerful. It is the rule of mystery. Machiavelli warned rulers never to reveal all their cards, never to expose the full plan. In attraction, this principle is priceless. Modern advice tells you to be completely open, to share everything, to explain your fears, your dreams, your emotions, your intentions. But total transparency kills curiosity. People are drawn to mystery because it activates the strongest force in the human mind, imagination. When you reveal everything too early, you remove tension. And without tension, attraction has nothing to feed on. Mystery is not deception. It is strategy. It is choosing to reveal yourself slowly, on your terms, in layers that keep her wondering what lies beneath. Think of your personality as a film. If you reveal the ending in the first scene, there is no reason to keep watching. But when every interaction reveals something new, interest stays alive. That is how attraction works. When she cannot fully predict your thoughts, when she's unsure whether you miss her, when she wonders what is happening inside your mind, she becomes emotionally invested. The less you explain, the more space you leave for imagination. And imagination is always more powerful than reality. Silence, used at the right moment, can speak louder than 1,000 confessions. The third rule sits at the core of all power. Control your emotions, or they will control you. Machiavelli believed that the man who masters himself can influence others without force. Most men fail here, not because they lack value, but because they react. They become angry when challenged, jealous when uncertain, desperate when ignored. But emotion is energy, and whoever controls that energy controls the dynamic. If she tries to provoke jealousy, remain calm. If she pulls back, do not chase. If she tests your patience, smile. Every emotional outburst is a quiet loss of power. The man who remains composed, while others lose control, becomes magnetic. His calm presence is addictive, because in a chaotic world, calmness signals strength. A man who cannot be emotionally shaken becomes a pillar, and people, especially women, are instinctively drawn to stability. Control does not mean coldness. It means emotional discipline. You still feel everything. You simply refuse to let those feelings take control. When you master your emotional responses, you become difficult to predict. And in attraction, unpredictability is power. Your calm becomes your edge. Your silence becomes intentional. Your restraint turns into strength. The fourth rule revolves around value. Make her invest. Never give without cost. Machiavelli understood a timeless truth. People value what requires effort, not what is handed to them freely. This law applies just as strongly to attraction. When a woman invests her time, her energy, or her emotions into you, her attachment grows naturally. But when you offer unlimited attention, constant validation, and endless availability, without requiring anything in return, your presence loses weight. What is easily given is easily dismissed. You must allow her to invest. Let her reach out first sometimes. Let her show care. Let closeness feel earned, not guaranteed. This is not manipulation. It is human psychology. The more effort someone puts into earning something, the more value it holds in their mind. Once she invests emotionally, she becomes attached because now she has built something herself. Machiavelli once said that those who create dependence hold control. In modern terms, the one who inspires emotional investment holds the power. So do not fear distance. Step back when necessary. Allow absence to speak. When your attention becomes a reward, instead of a constant supply, it gains gravity. Value is created through scarcity, not abundance. And a man whose presence feels rare does not fade from memory. The fifth and final rule is the hardest to accept, yet it is the most powerful of them all. You must be willing to walk away. Machiavelli wrote that the man who is not prepared to lose will eventually lose everything. In attraction, power always belongs to the one who can leave. The moment you fear losing her, you surrender control, because fear is felt, even when unspoken. And once she senses it, she will test it, whether consciously or not. But when you know your worth, when you can look her in the eyes and truly mean it, when you say, "I would rather be alone than disrespected," something shifts. You become untouchable. This is not arrogance, it is self-respect. Every strong man reaches a moment where he no longer needs a woman to feel valuable. He becomes his own source of validation. And here is the paradox. That is exactly when women begin to chase him, because deep down, every woman desires a man who does not need her, but chooses her. A man who could walk away at any moment, never has to threaten it. His presence commands respect, because his absence carries weight. When you understand all five of these rules together, something fundamental changes. You stop chasing approval and start creating it. You stop reacting to the room and begin setting the tone. You no longer move from need, but from certainty. So remember the principles. Desire is born from power, not pleasing. Mystery outperforms full exposure. Emotional control is real strength. Value grows through investment. And the ultimate position of power is the ability to walk away. This is not about manipulation. It is about alignment. With yourself, with your standards, with your worth. And once that alignment is set, attraction follows naturally. Not because you asked for it, but because you no longer chase it. Master your emotions, or they will end up mastering you. Create space for her to invest. Understand that value grows through effort. And above all, be willing to walk away, because that is where real freedom begins. These principles are not about manipulation, and they are not about playing games. They are about understanding what truly drives attraction. The same instincts that Machiavelli observed in power and politics are still alive in love today. Attraction is not chance. It is a dynamic shaped by confidence, scarcity, and emotional control. When you stop chasing, you become the prize. When you stop over-explaining, you become intriguing. When you stop reacting emotionally, you become powerful. And when you no longer fear loss, you become limitless. In every relationship, one person sets the frame, and the other responds to it. One leads, one adapts. Choose to be the one who holds the frame. Be the calm storm, silent, composed, yet impossible to ignore. You do not make women chase through pressure or manipulation. You make them chase through presence. When your energy speaks louder than your words, she feels it. When your silence carries more weight than emotional chaos, she respects it. And when your standards rise above games and tests, she follows them. This is not about controlling her. It is about controlling yourself. Because the moment you master yourself, you master attraction. Machiavelli never taught people how to love. He taught them how to win. And in a world where everyone is desperate for attention, real power belongs to the man who does not need it. The man who enters a room without trying to be seen, yet somehow commands every gaze. The man who offers less, but whose presence carries weight. The man who leads through silence, confidence, and intent. So the next time you think about love, understand this. It is not about being the nicest man in the room. It is about being the most grounded one. The man who does not flinch, who does not chase, who does not beg. Because he knows his worth without needing it reflected back to him. That is what creates desire. Not your words, not your money, not your appearance, but your control. Your mystery, your power. In the end, the Machiavellian man does not manipulate emotions. He masters them. He does not pursue love. He attracts it. And he never loses power, because he never gives it away. So now the real question is this. Which of these 5 rules will you apply first? And are you ready to stop chasing and start leading? If this perspective challenged the way you see attraction, subscribe for deeper insights into power, psychology, and human nature, and share this with someone who is still chasing what they should be leading. Because the moment you do, everything changes.